Hey guys, let's talk about that Paul Tyson fight. So it was touted forever. Uh, there was all this, misinformation about it. They canceled it once. There was hype, 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 hype. Paul wins. So my experience with it. Well, let's talk about the match itself. Let's start out with that. So for 2 glorious seconds in the first or second round, it looked like Tyson was going to be able to bring back some of the magic from the '80s, and it didn't happen. He got tired. Paul played the numbers. I mean, once he knew, he sort of could see it on his face that he knew he was going to win. So it was like just a matter of finishing the fight and making sure that he had more points than Mike Tyson, which is how you win boxing. It's not about destroying the other fighter. Sometimes they do that. The undercard, which is not a topic of this particular reaction, was just like that. Women are so vicious. Ugh. Anyway, Tyson looked sad after the second round. He's just tired. Although, they're talking about that health scare. He did 8 ounces of blood. He just said that on a tweeter. I'm sure he wasn't in the state that he should have been in to fight. They did it because they needed to for scheduling, I'm sure. Let's talk about what people reacted to. So fight wise, it was kind of disappointing. I mean, it was kind of boring. I mean, it was a heavyweight. Everyone was watching it. We were all, from my experience, we were all sitting around. Paul comes out on that weird truck with his brother, and it's just like, Tyson's just Tyson, strutting down there. Tyson looked a little light, honestly. I mean, well, I don't know what I expected. I will say all the kids knew who was going to win. It was Paul. They all said it. Everyone under like the age of 20, I asked, said Paul, and everyone over the age of 20, all the adults I talked to, they were all saying Tyson. I thought Tyson would win. If it was the Tyson from the '80s, it would have been, you know what I mean? It would have been a different story. That fight would have been way different. Tyson was fighting in a different league at that time. I mean, Jake Paul and Tyson probably would have never fought at that time. So this was, it's just a thing we watched. What are people reacting to? Netflix. So I was talking about how it was the internet at where I was at because it was like they just have T-Mobile wireless, hotspot thing. It wasn't though. Everyone was experiencing problems. I would like to point out though that just to get that stream going to that many people, 60 million people tuned in, which is like YouTube has problems when there's like 20,000 people that get into a live stream. So just imagine that. The fact that it didn't crash, although it did spin for us a little bit, and the bit rate was, oh, dude, the bit rate was like, oh, like it looked like they're just like playing N64 like on an old TV or something. Didn't matter. But at that point, there wasn't all that much to watch anyway. I guess, Tyson was just blocking, and there was a couple good hits. Those guys' faces were red. I mean, there was a couple really clean hits, 2 good boxing hits in there. That was, that was enjoyable for, if you like the game. What else? Oh, everyone's reacting to Tyson's behind. That's come up a lot lately. I missed it because I think we were all just like I was at a party, so there was other things to pay attention to at that point. But everyone's talking about that. It was kind of a, he's like an athlete, whatever. He don't care. Athletes are like they have to walk around their job all the time, so it's like not weird for him. Not weird for it doesn't. I mean, the fact that it was on, international broadcast. It isn't even nationwide. It is international broadcast, I believe, because it's not a broadcast though. It's actually channeled, but I don't know. It's interesting because it was live. It was on Netflix. It was 60 million people. It is channeled, right? So you have to pay to access that channel, basically. I mean, officially, right? So, but it was 60 million people still. That's amazing numbers. They got paid. I guess the number I'm reading changes every article, so I don't know what the heck they got paid. I know it's in the multiple tens of millions, and that's fine. As a spectacle, it was great. It was entertaining as crap. The fight wasn't all that great. I think, that was a letdown. Oh, yeah, Tyson's behind reminds me of Station from Bill and Ted 2. That's what the thumbnail is. Station, It looks just like that. So, yeah. What else? What else are people reacting to? I don't know. I thought that was fine. I mean, I think it was nice for watching Tyson fight. I think it was actually kind of a stand-up, respectable thing. Sportsman-like conduct is basically the way I would put it. That they didn't like that Paul. I think Paul could have just kind of dominated and even, made Tyson look like would have hurt him, basically. And I think he just realized he's going to win that match without doing that, and he didn't need to do that because Tyson wasn't there. He probably knew that. I bet they all knew that before it started. Now, was it scripted? That's what people were saying, that it was scripted. That Paul was going to win. I don't know, man. It was bought by Paul. I mean, they paid for it. Somebody somewhere paid for this. Bought this thing because it's his production company. He probably paid for so much of it. Netflix probably like paid for some of it. I mean, they had stand to actually gain a lot from it anyway. People are saying Netflix should never do another boxing round. Yeah, Netflix should do more boxing if they can get their stream right. I'll tell you, when they do live events and it's not 60 million people, it's fine. So I don't. 60 million people is crazy. They had to eat months to plan too. The fact that it didn't just crap out is actually a testament to how good it was. I know it wasn't a great experience for everyone. It was a little like the bit rate wasn't good, and it did stutter a little bit. But the fact that it didn't just crash for 20 million of those 60 million, it's a feat. I know that that's probably not popular opinion. People are like, "Oh, Netflix sucks," but it doesn't suck. Just it's not perfect yet. Everyone wants that 4K stream. I'd like a 4K stream of that. Whatever. What else? I guess that's about it. I didn't hate it. It was nice to see. It was nice to see Tyson fight again. He did get a couple good hits. I think Paul won that. I'd like to see Paul fight. I want to see Paul fight a fighter like for a title where they're where it's actually a fight. He's big, and you know what? He fought smart, in my opinion. Not that I'm a boxing expert or anything, but he does fight smart. He's a smart fighter. He kind of sits back. He kind of thinks about the fight. I think you could see it on, see how he plays. He fights a little bit like Mayweather. But again, man, he hasn't fought anyone worth a damn. And you know what I mean? It's like, so he's been fighting these cupcake fights, and it's just like, yeah, so he's still got his wits about him. He's not fighting some kind of crazy southpaw, boxer like that's actually like actively in the ring. Or I know he has a couple like decent fights. What I'm getting at is I'd like to see the man fight in, what he needs. I talked about this on stream a little bit. Is he needs a series with like the defining series, like, and a good example of this. There's a lot of names that revisit each other over the years, and then that's the series. Pacquiao and Perez. That's the 5 bout series. They kept on doing rematches. The first fight was crazy because they just went like crazy on each other. Pacquiao's not that kind of fighter. That he's sort of a counter puncher now, but like Mayweather. But uh, Jake Paul needs a series. He needs to get a fighter that's like on his level, that's exciting to watch, that he is being challenged, and that some of those fights are he's coming out. And the thing is, I don't think he's had that yet. I don't think he's had the situation where he's getting really pummeled, or what I mean. He's young, he's fit. He needs that defining moment, and as to sway fans, he's gonna have to show his skills, and I think he's some of that tonight, but not being challenged. It's like, well, he won it, he mopped it up. I don't think Tyson was ready, honestly. I mean, I don't, and maybe Tyson can never get ready now because of his age. He probably killed himself trying to train, and that's where he had the health problem. I mean, that's what I mean. Like he's really pushing his body hard at the age, and I don't know. So I'd like to see Jake fight, an explosive like fighter, like a someone on his same like level, age and skill, even challenging him, so that he can, The problem, I guess, the thing about it is the spectacle. If it was like Jake Paul and like somebody no name or whatever, or even like somebody like half name. I mean, McGregor comes to mind. They're talking about fighting. I think McGregor. They don't weigh the same, and they're not. Jake Paul doesn't MMA. He does boxing. McGregor will do both, but I don't. It's a silly concept anyway. I don't think McGregor. I mean, McGregor's like he ain't coming back, and he ain't fighting Jake Paul. Maybe he does. Mark my words. Not to eat my words. I've been doing a lot of word eating lately, so I don't know what's gonna happen. But it'll have to be another name that people like tune in for to watch Jake Paul fight. I don't think Jake Paul's gonna be fighting like. There's just a lot of boxers that are sort of. Tyson Fury would be interesting. I think Tyson Fury would destroy Jake Paul. I think Tyson Fury would make Jake Paul think twice about being a boxer. But again, he's retired, and I don't think he's in fighting shape. I mean, I don't think that's another one that's like an absurd concept. Uh, no, I don't think there's any. That's the problem with heavyweights. There's never like two excellent heavyweights that are actively fighting. That's why boxing is like it's always like this. PPV. You get somebody buys it or whatever. You get access to it. You all get in the house. You get together. You watch the undercards. Undercards are interesting. These undercards were interesting, sure. And then you get to the main event, and everyone's sitting around watching it and talking about it. And everyone's saying who's going to win, play some bets or whatever. Friendly bets between people, not like official bets. But there's all that too. And the main event happens, and it's just like the most disappointing part of the whole night. Although on review, this wasn't disappointing to me. I think I liked watching Tyson back in the ring, even if it is his last time. Maybe it should be. Jake Paul is an interesting concept. He's kind of swayed me a little bit. I didn't like the Paul brothers too much. I don't like, well, ever since, I mean, he got famous for the Japanese force, the brother. That's how I do him. So I came in late to the game. I find him kind of obnoxious, but I don't know. I mean, I love sportsmanship. So the fact that Jake Paul does fight and he's like, at least he's taking it serious. Not that, like, I'd like to see him like, yeah, let's put him against Tyson Fury. Right. Somebody like that. One of those family members over there. Anyway, did have a fun time though. The spectacle was great. The fact that it was widely available was really, really good. Here's a story. Actually, we went to the bar and we're getting wings, and they said that they couldn't put it on television because of whatever. I don't know. I don't understand. Well, I didn't understand. I still don't like what the legality of it is there. I think they just didn't want to mess up the TV system. They told us, oh well, by law they can't show it. So everyone had three. There was all these little groups of three that were like huddled around the television, which was not a good experience. It got better. We went back to a private residence and then had it on the big TV, and everyone sat around, and we were just, that's where the small talk and all the tension, the pre-fight tension took place, and it was just like, it was a good experience. That the fact that it was like widely available, everyone knew it was going to happen. It was something like, people got together. It was just felt like PvP from back in the day, pay-per-view. But yeah, the bar didn't have it on television, so it was like I was at the bar, and it was like instead of you can sometimes get that experience in the bar. It wasn't like that. It was like little groups of 3 or 4 huddled around a phone. Not a good experience. So I don't know. That's one thing I didn't like about that, because if it was PvP, no, pay-per-view, then yeah, the bar could have just bought it and showed it. It would have been a lot of money, I'm sure. Maybe you could have done that with Netflix. They didn't want to pay the money. Sometimes bars don't pay that money. The bar was crowded as crap. I think people were there to watch it, maybe, and that's where you got the little like groups though in the end. But it was interesting because of that too, because everyone had their phone. Like anyway, like you could have that like groups of 3 or 4 at a phone. It just felt like me that we were all huddled around this one phone. It just was like anti-social is my kind of like complaint about it. Not that we didn't see the fight, we saw it. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Kind of rambly. I'd like to I was gonna do a breakdown for this, but I don't think. I mean, as far as like the rounds go, I'll say this: it's for 3 seconds. And I already said this in the beginning. 3 seconds, Tyson looked great in like the first round. It looked like maybe he'd put up a fight. Then the rest of the fight was basically just blocking, counter punching. There was a couple good in the round 3 to 8. It was a couple good good hits. I think Tyson got a hit. I saw quality hits from Jake. I mean, they seem like, they both had red face in the end, or, Tyson looked fine, actually. Jake had red face. Tyson looked like he's just working. He just that was he brushed himself off, he got up and walked away, and then we all saw his butt looked like Station from Bill and Ted's. Anyway, I'll catch you guys next time. Nothing to offer streams. Jake Paul fight. Yeah.